Welcome everyone. I'm joined by NosMan, GSR, Xbox, Season 3, Tier 3, Champion of the season. We didn't really get to do this the other night. We couldn't do this last night as well because it was so late for me, and it was so late for you as well. It was also kind of past my bedtime, I guess you could say. But the thing is, now we get to do it. You couldn't get to race on Saturday. It was so obviously with all that being said, that means, I guess, that we couldn't interview you then. Now we get to interview you now. Welcome, NosMan. Glad to have you join us here for
Thanks, glad
Champion
to be
interview.
here.
Yeah. So, tell everyone what your immediate reaction was when you won the championship.
I was happy and excited that all of that hard work had paid off, and I'm also happy for McLaren and my team that he did so well that race that we could pull in the constructors championship as well. So I was pretty excited to hear that news.
Now, there are 3 to 4 people still in this league who raced in the first ever race at GSR. You being one of them, Bones was one of them, Thrasher was one of them, all you guys from Tier 3. Thrasher won his first race in that race that you won the championship. He was in the first race. How kind of special is that as well to mention? But the fact is, you won the championship, and you were the first person to win the championship from doing the first race of the league. No one has ever done that. How do you feel about that kind of stat you will always have in GSR? The first person to do that.
It's pretty cool to be able to do one of the first races from starting or from something starting up and not knowing if it's gonna last, a season, a month, or even now what is the third season. So,
Yep.
Just a stat like that is always something special and exciting just to be a part of.
Yeah, like you mentioned, McLaren won the Constructors' Championship as well. Hard work from you and Evil Matrix. Evil Matrix finished second in that race. The only thing he could do now is tie you in the championship. If it had gone to a tie, you would get the tie off of podiums. How do you feel about that?
I'm happy for him. He's been doing so well. I didn't know coming into this how well my teammate or other players would drive, but everybody's been pretty competitive. So, and my teammate's been doing really well. So, I'm happy for him and hope he can tie me. So, it'd be really cool to see.
Yeah, that would be the closest margin between a GSR championship if it happened. And I think this would be close in general, but so would Tier 2. 2 wins this season, I'm pretty sure. Italy, and back at Canada? I think, yeah, Canada. And Canada, and the weather conditions, kind of a mixed race. Dry quali, wet race, Italy, I believe, dry quali, dry race. So, throughout the season, you kind of had to go through a lot with being on the podium sometimes, but then having guys in front of you who you probably could have passed or could have contended with for the race victories, but it didn't always go your way. It wasn't always going your way, but you had all the hard work. You had everything go right when it mattered, and you were there when it mattered as well. How do you look at your season, even though we still have a race to go? And I know you said to me just a minute ago, you were looking at trying to race the Bahrain race, going to work later. Talk to us about that, both of the things I mentioned.
Yeah, looking back on the season, it's been really fun just being able to, sit down and competitively race on Saturdays and getting to meet new people and race on the game other than to a ranked lobby or an unranked lobby where drivers aren't exactly the best, but, it's been really fun. And I'm gonna see if it's okay with my manager if I can possibly come in a couple hours late and be able to race in the last race of the season in Bahrain. Just, it's kind of the last race before the end for a while, so I'm hoping I can do that. It'd be really fun to be a part of that.
Yeah, if anyone watching, I know there's 3 or 4 people watching. If anyone has any questions for NosMan, feel free to drop them. I'm still here, gonna be here for about another 5 to 10 minutes, interviewing you. But yeah, your teammate as well finished second in that race. The most you could do is tie you. How things change now, how that could happen. But it would go to you off of tiebreaker, off of podiums, because you guys would be tied on wins. So that's the way it would go. In general, I know there's a race left, but coming back to GSR, you came back here this season after being in the original Season 1. You came back and you won a race in Canada, and I was thinking, alright, well, NosMan, he just came after crashing on lap 1, and he came back to win the race, and he won it by 20 seconds. This guy is going to be really special for Tier 3, and he's going to do very well this season. I mean, there was a lot of commentators who commentated this season, such as Axe, myself, GSR Bianchi, kind of also thought could happen. But you proved to us in Canada why you deserve to be champion, and you proved that well in that race. In Italy, a back-and-forth battle between the race lead, you were on the better end of it and won the race. How do you feel about all of that ending the way it did and the way you?
Back in Canada, just, crashing into lap 1, and, a lot of people just aren't being able to, race as well in the rain because of the lower grip and stuff like that. But, putting in that hard work and just occasionally practicing in the rain, just find the better grip point. So that one was really special, just to be able to put my foot down and find the grip like Ayrton Senna does when he races in the rain. So, but
yeah,
it was a challenging race. Just just practicing and putting in everything and watching that hard work pay off. So
yeah. I mean, you for sure have to be happy how it paid off. But I got a question from GSR Bianchi. He says this as a joke, of course, but how do you feel about him spinning you in Spa back earlier this season? Point half that was GSR Bianchi.
I'm gonna be quite honest. I'm not too happy about how that race turned out. Spa is one of my, if not my favorite track to race at. So I was hoping to be able to pull something out of the hat and get a podium or win there, but some things just happen and things go wrong. So, and I think my strategy and my tires were not exactly in the right place and falling off. So, but it was a good race, and I'm happy about how things just turned out. Ups and downs. So, if you fall down, you get up and you push a lot harder.
Okay, so real question though. Favorite battle this season that you've had? From GSR Bianchi, this was.
That's a good one. Probably.
It is.
I want to say, from recent memory, Italy. Just
probably, I would say from you.
Italy,
yeah.
yeah.
I was gonna say. Yeah.
Just because of how close it was. It was like the last 5 laps or something like that. Just battling, going back and forth. Some things just go wrong and a driver comes out on top. So that was probably one of my best and most favorite battles.
Yeah. Now, there's been many races where you've had chances for podiums, you got the podium, but with the different race winners this season, 9 of the 10 races this season, there's been different winners. You are the only one so far this season to be the repeat winner. If it stays that way, how would you feel about that during this whole season, the season you win the championship, for you to be the only repeat winner, if this is the way it stays?
That's something special. Not a lot of drivers can be able to repeatedly win races. So, like you said, it was 9 winners out of the 10 races.
Yup.
So that would be pretty cool to have something special like that. So I'd be happy. Um, it'd be cool to see another person have a repeat. Have 2 repeat winners. So, but no, I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we will have to wait and see. Now, Bahrain, how good are you at that track if you do tend to show up possibly this next race? Because you said, obviously, you'll try to get work off, of course, or at least delayed for you, so you can do this race, and I would like to see you do it, of course. But the thing is, how good are you at Bahrain, and how would you feel your chances are if you do race Bahrain?
I feel I'm pretty decent. Qualifying usually isn't the best for me for some reason. It's always in the race that I can show how good I am. It's just less stressful in a way. But I like to think I'm pretty good at that track, and if I do show up, maybe I can pull something out of the hat, maybe a podium or even a win.
Yeah. Now, you talked to me last night about a few things when we talked. Now, you said you would stop racing GSR to just focus on the real life stuff, focus on what's happening in real life, your job, and, what your future could look like in real life. I mean, I have no clue how old you are, I don't really care, but the thing is, with all that being said, what do you look to do in the future and just life in general? Because a lot of people want to do a lot of different things, so where do you kind of stand in, life in general, and how do you look at things?
Well, I am 19, so I'm graduated from high school, and currently right now I'm in the process of joining the Marine Corps, so that's I'm hoping to be my future, but if I can't get into that, then I'll go to college and take my Xbox and all of that with me, and maybe I can join in the races in the future. So, you just gotta
Yeah.
go step by step and see what life brings you. So,
I've got to ask you now. An interesting question I kind of just thought of. In all the tiers of GSR, from tier 1 to tier 3, any guy you've raced before, don't matter who, any guy who's been in this league, any guy who's had a part of this league, including myself and anyone else and people who've commentated, if there was one teammate you would want to have for one race, or just a whole season if you came back, who would it be? From all tiers. It don't matter. Just any tier from this league. Yeah, so GSR Bianchi said you were still in high school when you raced the first race, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, did you hear my question there, NosMan?
oh, sorry, my mic was muted. Yeah, that is a hard question. I haven't raced with very many of the other racers as being my teammate, but I don't know like how they drive and stuff, if you know what I'm saying. But if I
Yeah.
had to pick one, it'd probably be the one I have now, Evil Matrix, just because of how consistent, I guess you could say, he is. Just being able to keep the podiums going and stuff like that. Being able to keep seconds in the championship.
Yeah. If Now I've got to ask you then, since I brought up the Belgium race, since I brought up some races, I've only missed 2 commentary races, but the thing is, if this season that you could go and change and make better, or just change the result in that you could possibly do. If there's one race you could possibly think of that you could change from the season with the way it went, what race would that be?
hands down Spa, just because of the way I played my strategy and my tires in some of those battles. Just wasn't too happy the way they turned out, and some of the things I did I could have changed, and the outcome could have been a little different. I could have even had a podium or even a win, so that's probably one I would change.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I was tuning into the spot stream pretty late after I commented another race that I had to do, and I tuned in and I saw the last few laps and I was like, oh, safety car late race, oh boy. And then when I saw the results the way it went, I was like, holy cow. Yeah, but that changed so much with the way it went. But if anyone has any other questions for NosMan, I believe there's 3 viewers. If you guys have any other questions for NosMan, I'm here to tell them. I've got 5 more minutes I probably could use here, but if there was one guy besides Evil Matrix you wanted to have a challenge within the championship instead of him, or with him, I guess, who would it be? Because you had guys like Thrasher, who won the last race, who contended somewhat with you, but not as much. Florian Foley, GLO Celso, GSR Raptor. There was really a 6-man fight this whole season, but you kind of pulled away after the past few races.
It'd probably be somebody within the top 6, maybe Florian Foley, because I think earlier out in the season he was doing pretty good, and then it just seemed like as the races would go, he just kind of dropped off. So that was kind of sad to see. Hoping to get some closer battles from him and Raptor and also and Thrasher, but they all did really good. So, but I would probably pick Florian Foley, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of a hard choice. It's all tied between the top 6 people of who I'd like to have a closer battle with, because they're all just such good drivers, and yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think of what else to ask. Besides that, but either way, for the McLaren team, impressive stuff this season. No matter what people say, because first race of GSR, you raced to France, you kind of had to leave for the same kind of reason, you know, just stuff going on. And then you come back to this season, win the championship. You know, did you even think this was possible at any chance? When did you start to think your championship chances were there, and when did you think this was going to be possible to win the championship?
After that first race this season, wasn't it? It was France, right?
First race was France, yes.
Just coming from there, just pretty far back, not doing so well. Didn't think I had it. But, you know, eventually came back, and I think it was Canada in the rain, just that big gap. Just being able to see what I can do and how others react in the rain. Just kind of boosted my confidence in racing, and especially racing in the rain. So that's probably, I think, where I noticed that I could do a lot better and get the champion.
Yeah, I think that's really the turning point in the season, where race 3, where we saw what you could be capable of doing in these races. I've got to ask though, GSR Bianchi, because I noticed you're in the chat. Obviously, I don't think Axe is, of course, but do you want me to do this with every tier? With interviews like later after the race or the day after the race, for example, at this time, for example, for the champions, because I would like to kind of do this again, besides the post-race interview they get, or besides that, I would like to do this again with guys and kind of talk to them about a little Q&A kind of session like I kind of have with you about all of this, and figure out yeah, you said yeah, sure. Yeah, I wouldn't mind this, because I would like to see obviously this be done with the tier 2 and tier 1, but have you been paying attention to the tier 2 tier 1 championship battle at all by chance? Just curious. Or hear about it?
Every now and then I check in, just whenever I have time at work. Just, occasionally look at the chat, see what's going on. I haven't looked at any of the point standings recently, mainly because I can't find. Oh, there's two. Yeah, I can't find them.
Yeah, I could fix that quickly, but yeah, regardless of that though, of not finding it, but the championship has been close in tier 2. 11 points separate that gap, but that's going down to the final race. And then there's a championship on the line for tier 1 that could be won next week in USA, or this week in USA on Saturday. So yeah, we'd have to find out what goes on. I mean, I don't know if you've tuned into any of the streams or not. I don't know if you've seen any of them, but I would like to hopefully see you tune into the streams again, of course. I'm sure you probably have rewatched some of the races. I know a lot of people have who are in these championship battles, such as Pluto and Hamilton.
Yeah, whenever I get the chance, I always watch the races after. I have very much time during the day when they're racing, just because of work and stuff. But I usually watch them later that night or even the next day. Just watching them on YouTube or Twitch or Mixer or wherever they are, just to see how things go and how people race and what happens.
Yeah. Well, man, I don't think there's any more questions for you. I think we got what we needed for sure for the YouTube, and what we need for sure, because we didn't get to have the post-race interview because you weren't there for last week at Brazil for yesterday. But regardless of that, good job on the championship. You deserved it. And like I said, if you weren't champion, I don't think there's a champion that could be crowned. That's the way I found it in the season. Amazing battle with Matrix and all other drivers too, who took advantage. And yeah, you racing to come out with the championship this season. So yeah, congratulations on that. Anyways, that's really it with NosMan, and that's all there is with to talk about. So don't miss USA this weekend on Saturday for Tier 1. Bahrain is next week after that for all tiers. The championship could be decided for Tier 2 there. It could be changed order. Hamilton could do better. Pluto could do better. Who knows? Championship could be decided between Axe and Bama and V2 all this weekend in USA. We'll have to find out. Thank you for your time, though, NosMan. Glad to see you joined us, and I'm glad to see you here.
Thank you.
So that's really about it. That's all we have to say. But thank you guys also for tuning in, and thank you guys for watching all this. A little championship interview with NosMan. Something we got to do, and I'm glad we got to do that. Anyway, but yeah, that's really about it. Congratulations on the championship, and yeah, we will see you guys though for Tier 1 on Saturday at USA for Tier 1. We'll see you guys then.